Big cable's home internet will put you through the stages of grief, like denial.
My introductory rate is over, but surely they won't raise the price.
Or anger.
They've raised it!
But with T-Mobile 5G home internet, you get our price lock guarantee, so we won't raise your rate for internet ever. And it's just $50 a month with autopay and eligible payment method. Check availability today.
Price lock exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Qualifying credit required. Regulatory fees included in $50 price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without autopay. Debit or bank account required.
Are you ready to move your career forward? Make your comeback with Purdue Global and get college credit for your work, school life, or military experiences. With these credits, you may have already completed up to 75% of your undergraduate degree. You've worked hard to get where you are. It's time to get the recognition you deserve and earn a degree you'll be proud of. One that employers will trust and respect. When you take the next step in your life and career, make it count with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu.
Hi, from Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal women overlooked in their own lifetimes or in our historical accounts of the eras in which they lived. We're talking about the activists, thinkers, leaders, artists, and innovators history's forgotten. Today, we're talking about a woman who found the invisible. Her pioneering work on galaxy rotation rates generated some of the first evidence for dark matter. Please meet Vera Rubin. Vera Florence Cooper was born on July 23, 1928, in Philadelphia. Both her parents worked at Bell Telephone. When she was 10 years old, Vera's family moved to Washington, D.C. Her new bedroom had a window that looked out onto the sky. At night, the stars shone brightly over her head. She watched them move across the sky, changing their positions night to night. Her father helped her build a makeshift telescope to see them better, but it wasn't enough. When it came time to go to college, Vera picked Vassar because Maria Mitchell, the first American to discover a comet, had taught there in the late 1800s. Vera graduated as the only astronomy major in her class. Shortly after, she met a physics student named Bob Rubin, who would soon become her husband. Vera hoped to enroll at Princeton for her PhD, but the program didn't accept women. They wouldn't even send her a course catalog. Instead, Vera went to Cornell for a master's degree. She couldn't get her mind off the view from her childhood bedroom, the way the stars and seemingly the entire sky moved. And a recent journal article posed a question about whether galaxies might rotate like solar systems do. That piqued Vera's interest, so she decided to study it. When Vera presented her master's thesis to her advisor, he had succinct feedback. It was sloppy, but it was good. He thought it should be presented at the next American Astronomical Society meeting, but not by Vera. She wasn't a society member, and she was nearly 9 months pregnant with her first child. His plan was that he should present the work under his name. Vera declined. She presented at the conference. It didn't exactly go to plan. She was a novice presenting to seasoned astronomers, and they mostly tore her research apart. Her paper was never published. Vera stayed at home with her new baby for the next few months, reading the newest issue of the Astrophysical Journal while he napped. Again, it wasn't enough. Bob saw it too, and eventually convinced Vera to enroll for her PhD at Georgetown University. There, she furthered her research into galaxies and found that they clumped together. These findings, again, were mostly ignored. But today, you'd be hard-pressed to find an astronomer who hasn't learned about them. Vera worked at Georgetown for 10 years as a professor. The longer she stayed in the field, the stronger her desire became to be heard, regardless of stuffy traditionalists. In 1962, she taught a small group of advanced students in statistical astronomy. Over the next months and many long nights, the group gathered around Vera's kitchen table and completed a paper that calculated the rotation curve of the Milky Way's more distant stars. The editor at the Astrophysical Journal wanted to publish it, but he requested the students' names be taken off. Vera knew firsthand how hard it was to publish, how often a name got left off of research, presented under someone else's. She refused and threatened to pull the paper entirely. The paper was published. In another instance, while Vera was working at an observatory atop a mountain, she discovered there was only one restroom, and the sign outside said men's. No problem for Vera. She cut a woman in a skirt out of paper, stuck it on the door, and presto, a women's restroom. In 1965, Vera began her work at the Carnegie Institution's Department of Terrestrial Magnetism in Washington, D.C. It was home to a state-of-the-art spectrometer. This allowed her to really zoom in and focus on distant parts of a galaxy. It was at Carnegie that Vera found dark matter, or the first hints of it. Reading her observation of the Andromeda Galaxy back with collaborator Kent Ford, they found something strange. The very edges of the galaxy seemed to be rotating just as quickly as what was in the center. This defied Newton's laws of motion entirely. Vera and Kent traveled to telescopes across the western U.S. to gather more data. But every time, the results were the same. Vera couldn't make sense of it until suddenly it clicked. The speed of the orbit was the same throughout the galaxy because mass was spread throughout the galaxy, not in its center. And that was only possible if there were some kind of invisible particles they couldn't account for. Dark matter. Dark matter had existed as a concept since the 1930s, but only as a concept. Vera's research in the 1970s was evidence. In just a matter of decades, the idea took off. Physicists would prove the theoretical framework for dark matter. Satellites would measure the dark matter content of the universe. Entire subfields in astrophysics would develop. And scientists would come to find that some 84% of all of the matter in the universe is dark matter. Despite the conversation dark matter sparked for years to come, Vera's contributions were never awarded the prestige an era-defining discovery might usually get. For the next chapters of her life, Vera continued to observe the skies and raise her family, which now included 4 children. All 4 would eventually go into science. Vera also served as an editor for the Astronomical Journal and as a mentor for other women entering the field. In 1993, Vera received the National Medal of Science from President Bill Clinton. In 1996, she became the second woman ever to receive the Gold Medal of the Royal Astronomical Society in London. In the 2000s, Vera's story gained more attention after she was interviewed by several journalists. For a while, there was even a campaign for her to win the Nobel Prize in Physics. One of the physicists who developed the theoretical framework for dark matter won the prize. Vera never did. Vera Rubin died in 2016. She was 88 years old. For Vera, there was always something more to be found. In 2009, as dark matter fever was once again exciting the scientific community, a New York Times reporter asked Vera what she thought about the latest findings. Vera replied, "I don't know if we have dark matter or have to nudge Newton's laws or what. I'm sorry I know so little. I'm sorry we all know so little. But that's kind of the fun, isn't it?" All month, we're talking about women behind the curtain. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Talk to you tomorrow.
No one likes to talk about money. Am I saving enough? Can I buy a house? Am I paying too much in taxes? Will I be able to retire? What if you could unlock insights about your finances in less than 5 minutes with a clear picture of where you stand today and where your money can work harder? Now you can. Visit Facet.com to take the free quiz and get your financial wellness score today. That's FACET.com. This ad is sponsored by Facet. Facet Wealth Incorporated is an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor is it investment, legal, or tax advice.
Taking charge of your future starts with taking the first steps. And saving up to $30 a month on Cox Internet with the Affordable Connectivity Program makes those steps easy to take. Whether they bring you to click upload on your first short film or join now for an online book club. Applying is easy. See if you qualify at cox.com/ACP. Non-transferable one per household. Application and eligibility decisions are made by the FCC.
Be dazzled this holiday season by Northern Virginia's largest drive-through light show at Bull Run Festival of Lights. Celebrate the holidays as a family while staying warm and cozy. Drive the festival route from the comfort of your car. Turn off your headlights and just follow the magical glow through 2.5 miles of dazzling displays in Bull Run Regional Park in Centerville, Virginia. Plan your visit now. When you visit by mid-December, you'll save. Get your tickets today at bullrunfestivaloflights.com. That's bullrunfestivaloflights.com.